Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now today we're going to be doing another computer related video, and this one relates to one that I did almost a year ago on the PowerBook G4 project. And if you haven't seen those videos, you can click on the top right of your screen right now, or those links are going to be down below in the video description. But essentially what I did in that video is I had acquired two PowerBook G4s. This is one of them right here, and both of them had, some sort of problem with them. One of them, the screen was kind of going bad, and the other one, which is this one right here, the kind of external body is somewhat damaged, and the hinge is somewhat bad, and the keyboard is somewhat messed up, and things like that. So what I essentially did in that video is I took some parts from this machine, which included the RAM and the LCD, and I swapped them out onto that other machine, which was in much better shape, to kind of make one good PowerBook G4. And I still kept this machine around. I don't have that PowerBook G4 anymore, but I did keep this one. And recently I came across a box of parts that I had, because I didn't really spend the time to assemble this thing back together. But I recently did that yesterday, and I assembled the bad LCD, which really the only problem with it is, and I'll show you if you had seen that video, is that it you can see that it is failing. It kind of glows red when it turns on, but it does still work. And I essentially made a somewhat working PowerBook G4 here. And what we're going to be doing in this video is installing Mac OS X Leopard on it, because I did have to. Well, I didn't have to swap out the hard drive or anything, but the hard drive in here has some old data on it, and I just basically want to wipe the hard drive to give it a fresh, clean install. But before we do that, I do want to show you kind of a outside tour of this machine here. Now you will notice on the front here that there is a big little dent here. That was one of the problems, is that the external body of this machine was in bad shape, and this is not this is something very minor. But if you go down here, you'll see that there's a huge dent in the DVD drive right here. But around here, everything else is pretty much fine. I was basically I had reassembled the old LCD from the other machine back onto this one. But really the only major problem is the LCD is failing, but it still works, and the hinge is bad. Both those things can be fixed if I want to put money into them. Not so much the hinge. That can probably just, maybe I'd probably have to put some money into it, but I don't really think I'm going to do that. I think this would just make a parts machine, or something like that, or a throwaway laptop, pretty much. Something that I don't really care about so much, because it's already in somewhat bad shape. You'll notice on the bottom here there is no RAM door. I do have the RAM door right here. The problem is I don't have the screws to put the RAM door on. I did find these screws right here, but the problem is they're not flush with the actual door here. So they kind of, and you'll notice here, they kind of made a big dent in my desk here, which I'm going to have to fix, which is really annoying. So I just kind of took off the RAM door here. So I'm probably not going to be selling this or anything like that, but I'm probably just going to be keeping this around as a, like I said, a parts machine, or a throwaway laptop or something like that. This is not the original RAM that was in either of these PowerBooks. I actually had this laying around. It just so happened to be the correct type of RAM. And this is only 512 megs of RAM, which isn't really a lot, but it's something just to get it working. So that's kind of what I have. I do have a PowerBook battery in here, but this thing doesn't really hold a charge, so I might just take it out just to make it a little bit lighter. So what we're going to be doing in this video, as I said, is essentially reinstalling macOS 10 Leopard on here. I do have a macOS 10 0.5 CD here. I don't think I've done a video where I just like the whole video is just about reinstalling OS 10, but this video is basically going to be that, because there were some of you guys that actually wanted me to do something like this, and it wasn't necessarily on macOS 10.5, but it was on OS 10. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. I just have to plug the laptop in here, and I will show you kind of the whole LCD problem and some of the other problems. So I'll just open the hinge here, and this is, as I was saying in the original PowerBook video, this hinge is really hard to get open. You have to kind of push in with one hand and kind of at the same time reach up, and you have to do it at the same time. It's somewhat difficult. Again, it's not as it's not the way the hinge is designed to work, but you'll see that it's really I can just kind of go like this, and the whole hinge just moves, and that's not supposed to happen. But that is something that probably can be fixed, and you'll notice that there are a few keys missing. I did basically swap out, I believe, this key right here. This is the O key. The O key on the other PowerBook was kind of it was in really bad shape, and this one was perfectly fine. So I just took the key off of this one and put it onto that one. And this key is, I couldn't really get it back on here, but so I don't have an O key pretty much, but yeah, the keyboard works as far as I know. The trackpad works, and let's just turn this thing on, and we'll just kind of get right into installing OS 10 here, and I can kind of show you the little problem with the LCD here. Basically, what it does is as it turns on here, it'll glow red, and as it's booting up, it'll slowly fade to the normal colors, and I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. So here it is here. You probably can't really see it in the camera very well, but it has a slight tint of red, and now it's just kind of fading away, and that's might not be that big of a deal, but it's probably a sign that the LCD is failing. I'm not really sure. From what I've read online, people say that they've had that and then their LCD has failed, like however much time down the road, and that might just be a coincidence. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So let's just let this thing boot up here, and we'll get into installing OS 10. Okay, so we are back, and we have the machine booted up here, and I think this is the best angle that we're gonna get. Luckily, this is not a CRT or anything like that, so there's not going to be any frame rate type issues. But I'm looking at the camera, and everything seems to be looking fine. So hopefully this will give you guys a good view of the whole installation process. So I'm going to put in the OS 10 Leopard CD right here, and yeah, because this is a PowerPC based machine, Leopard is the last, rather the latest version of OS 10 that we can actually run on here. And that's just, just because of the fact that Apple did not make a later version of OS 10 to run on the PowerPC architecture. So we're just going to click on Install Mac OS 10 here and run this program. And I think what we have to do is just, so we're going to click on the restart button. It should automatically boot from the CD. If not, I'm going to have to restart again and hold down. I have to put in the password here. Okay, so it's going to restart now, and it's going to boot back up into the installer. So yeah, a lot of you guys, as I said earlier, were kind of wanting me to do a video where I just kind of go through the OS 10 installation process. So that's going to be what this video is essentially. because I usually do this with Windows builds. I've done this in the past with Windows XP and Windows 7 builds, and just different versions of Windows. So it is going to be nice to take a look at something different for once. I have done this installation many times, so I kind of know how the setup process goes. And this will also be good for some of you guys who are actually installing this on a Mac that you may have found, or if you just want to install OS X Leopard on a virtual machine or something like that. So I'm just going to let this boot up here, and we're going to be using the disk utility to actually wipe the drive, and I'll be showing you how that is done as well. So we're just going to let it finish booting up here. And here we go. We have just booted up into the installer, so we're going to use English for the main language here, and we're going to click on the next arrow, and so it's going to go through here. So I was going to zoom in on, well, actually the first thing that we have to do is, before that we do anything here, if you actually want to wipe the hard drive on here, what you want to do is go up to the top menu here where it says Utilities, and you want to click on Disk Utility right here. You are given access to some OS X programs, which is very nice. That if you didn't want to actually install OS X and you just wanted to see information about the computer, or just run a few terminal commands and things like that, it is very nice that you're able to do that from the installer CD. So we're just going to click on Disk Utility here and run that, and we're going to go in here. Once it loads up here, for some reason the screen does look a little red from the viewfinder of the camera. At least that's the way that I can see it now, but it's not like the screen is not having that problem right now. I think that's just the way that it's being captured. But all that we have to do here is just go up to the hard drive here, which this is a 93 gig hard drive. Probably about a 100 gig drive, because usually there's a few gigs saved for the system partition. But we're just going to actually click on the drive itself and go over here to where it says Erase, and we're going to click on that. And then right here you can give it a name if you want. You do want to make sure it's macOS Extended Journal, because this is the volume format that OS X uses. And I'm just going to call it Macintosh HD because that's the default name. So again, it's really hard to type because the I key and the O key is missing. So we're going to Macintosh HD, and we're going to click on Erase down here. It's kind of hard to see in the dark. It's going to give you a confirmation window right here that's going to say erasing this disk will destroy all data on the drive. So we're just going to click on Erase to confirm, and at the bottom there you'll see it doing all its stuff right there. So this can obviously take some time, depending on the size of the drive. It didn't take long for this one, and we have finished, as you can see. So now what you can do is close out of the disk utility, because we can see here we do have a blank new partition here. So we're just going to close out of that, and we're going to proceed with the Leopard installer here. So we're going to click on the Continue button, and we're going to agree to the license agreement, and now we're going to select on our newly created Macintosh HD partition here, and it's going to let us know that it's going to need 11.4 gigs of space. So we're going to click on Continue and Install, and it's going to write all of the installation files to that partition. So this is probably the thing that, or the part of the installation that takes the longest. It does have this little feature here. It will actually check the installation DVD. Now I know that this DVD is good and hasn't really been modified or anything like that. So I usually just click on Skip here, because that just kind of speeds up the process a little bit. But if you had found a Macintosh or not Macintosh, but a OS X CD and you wanted to make sure that it was, you know, okay, or if you had, you know, made your own from like an ISO file or, you know, something like that, that feature might be, you know, good to let like it, you know, go through just to make sure that all the files are, you know, there, and that it's going to put everything onto the hard drive. So as I said, this can take a while, so I'm just going to let it finish up here, and I'll be back once it is finished. Okay, so finally, after about a long time of waiting, we are back, and basically what happened is that I initially went through the OS X installation the first time, and there was a slight problem at the the tail end of the installation. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to keep that footage in the actual video, because it was basically like, you know, 10 minutes of me just, you know, talking about, you know, what was going on, or, you know, what I thought was wrong. But I basically had to reinstall OS X from scratch and go through a whole nother hour of just basically waiting for it to finish. So this has basically taken me 2 hours to just, you know, sit here and wait for this thing to finish. But it has finally finished here, and we are you know, booting back up into the rest of the OS X setup process, which from here out is going to be very basic, I believe. One thing I am going to mention is that at the very end of the installation, and I have not noticed this before, I guess because I'm usually not at the you know, OS X computer that I am you know, like installing it on for the full, you know, amount of time that it's, you know, installing. At the very end, when it says that it has about a minute left, it does not have about a minute left, because this probably took 10 to 20 minutes to finish when it got to that point. It was kind of ridiculous. I have no idea why it was stuck on about a minute, but it was at like the you know, progress bar was stuck on the very end, and it had like a centimeter like to move to the right, and it just wasn't doing that, and it took 10 or 20 minutes. And but yeah, we're finally done here with that, and it's just, you know, has to boot up, and it's going to go through the whole like, you know, this part here where it's going to play the you know, OS X intro video, which I am going to you know, just let play and everything. Then it's going to ask us for our you know, information and everything. So this should be playing momentarily here. So there we go. We have finished up here. We got that nice little, like, you know, fold-in cube thing, and we're going to go through the rest of this setup here. We're going to, you know, click on continue. We're in the U.S. We do not own a Mac. We're going to not transfer information, and it's going to ask us for our Apple ID. I'm not going to bother putting this in because I don't really think you can do much with it on OS 10.5. And we can actually skip registration, I believe, if you just press Command Q, and we can click on, yeah, skip. If you guys didn't know that, that's very useful, because I don't want to bother putting that in right now. We'll just put owner. The date is off. Okay, well, it did just fix itself. The internal clock in here, I should say, is totally messed up. And that's a common thing with older machines. It probably needs to be changed out, but it did. Well, this is probably because it's, you know, pulling it off of the internet, but it you know, was able to find the you know, correct date and time. But as I said, it's, you know, probably you know, getting that from the Apple Time servers. So yeah, we have finished up, and we're going to just let it load into the OS here. And there we go. We have that you know, classic space wallpaper that is very iconic for, well, I don't know if you'd say iconic, but the reason I say that is because most of you have probably seen this before because this was on Macs for just a really long time. And yeah, for some reason the CD drive was having a weird issue when I was talking about it, like when it was having that issue when it wasn't finishing the installation for the first time, but it seems to be working perfectly fine now. I'm just going to eject the OS CD that's in here, and we're going to put it back in here. So even though that this thing is like I mentioned, the DVD drive has a large dent, or not really like a large dent, but if you notice, it has this like somewhat of a dent right there, which is somewhat of an issue, but that can be fixed if you want to, I guess, change out the frame. I'm not going to be doing that because this is already a like too old of a laptop to actually have any like modern use. But this would be perfectly fine for a a basic web browsing machine or something to check email or something like that. But as I said, I'm probably going to keep it around as a throwaway laptop or just a parts machine or something like that. But yeah, that is just about going to wrap it up for this video. This was again installing OS 10.5 or Leopard on this PowerBook G4 right here. If you guys enjoyed and if you want to see more videos like this, definitely be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to directly support the channel simply by shopping on Amazon, you can do so by using my Amazon affiliate code. That link is down below in the video description as well. And essentially how that works is anything that you buy from Amazon, I get a small kickback from that, and all the funds that I generate from that are going to be going back into making these videos and investing in better video equipment and things like that, just to make better videos for you guys overall. But anyway, guys, just thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your amazing support, and as always, I will see you in the next video.